there, it's Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Women on TV.tv, Worldwide TV Network, iTunes 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and as Terry knows, Nonstop knows, out of Redondo Beach, California, on all platforms, 220 countries around the world, live every Tuesday night, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. Eastern. So I've been waiting for this because, not that she's special, but she is special. Danielle Martins, not only Danielle, because I've been waiting for this. I love this company. I don't think I knew anything about them probably prior to a month or a month and a half ago, but I really love this company. Danielle, tell us who you are, where you're coming from, and then let's talk about the lady at the bottom of the screen, Judy, all right?
All right, thank you so much, Brian. So for those who don't know me yet, I'm Danielle Martins. I am a branding strategist and also a branding strategist at Hasmark Publishing International, one of the greatest companies for you to publish your book, to market your book, to brand yourself. And here today we have the honor to talk with Judy Beirn, who is the CEO and sorry for the English, but the president of Hasmark Publishing. So thank you so much, Judy, for being here with us.
Thank you. Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
And Judy, I'm so glad that you've been on. Don't mind me when I call you, because like I said, Terry knows when I'm calling people, that means I care about them. I'm wanting to make sure that they're updated with everything, because we have so much stuff that's happening around the world. And then Danielle knows what this is like now too, and especially with 12 girls and making sure we got our schedules with everything just being marked. Talk about why, and I've always wanted to know this, why is Hasmark so good at what you guys do? Talk about the AR aspect, and how do you find these authors?
Absolutely, Brian. Hasmark actually stands for Heart and Soul of Marketing. And it truly does speak everything about what we do. I wake up in the morning and everything is about putting your heart and soul into it. In fact, I just had a conversation with one of my girls, the production manager, and said to her, make sure that it isn't about the speed, it's about the quality of what we do. And that's so incredibly important. And Danielle is a walking, living, breathing example. She's always working with our authors in the branding and making sure that they stand out, because that's what it is. It's about making sure our authors are brought out to the world in the best way possible that they can be. So we're always working, we're always inventing, we're always changing, we're always coming up with new ideas.
So with that, you know, I'm pushing Terry, who's out of Redondo Beach, California, to start writing, because I adore her so much. She's got a good story to tell. When she came to me, because I didn't pick her, when she came to me, she says she wanted to make sure that she inspired women over a certain age. She wanted to make sure that anybody could do what they're doing, and she's been through a lot of stuff. She also has on her own over 3 million views and counting. Never mind her measly 10,000 or 15,000 followers on TikTok, which is a thing. I have to always remind her to relate to this, Judy, that is 3 million is bigger than 10 or 15 million thousand followers. That's a bigger play. So with that, I'm encouraging, if I like you and you're a friend of mine, I'm always going to push you to be the best that you can be. And I'm sure you do the same thing with your authors, Judy, because I know Danielle's doing it. And we just talked to Dr. Weiss yesterday, who handles COVID patients out in New York. But my God, this woman is just fabulous, fabulous. Talk about her book.
I actually have goosebumps when you talk to me about her, and I hope she doesn't mind me saying anything, but I remember one of our first conversations with Dr. Jonette Weiss, and she had told us what it was like. We were in the early stages of COVID, so she signed up with us about a year ago, and she's lifelong now. And she was telling me what it was like. She brings this beautiful, imaginative, sparkly children's book to the world, and it's absolutely amazing. And she's got incredible ideas. But then there's this other side of her where she's an ER doctor. And she showed us one day, she actually put on her COVID gear. And that's how she spends her day, like masked and gowned and with the whole And I'm like,
you.
how do you deal with it? And she talked about the fact that she actually has to sit there with patients and hold the phone so they can talk to their loved one. And I'm thinking, how do you get away? How do you walk away at the end of your day? And then all of a sudden get into this incredibly innovative children's book. But she's absolutely amazing. Every day I receive recipes she's created, characters she's created, designs were actually, what's really cool is you mentioned augmented reality a moment ago. And I have to tell you, she doesn't know this yet. And her book is about, it is released and it has augmented reality in it. And it actually has animation. The characters in the book come to life. It's just adorable. And it actually just happened today. So, and our books are published. We've got the first book in animation. The second book is being done in animation now, but we're on our way to 10 books in the series.
And what's the name of that
Absolutely
book? What's the name of her
incredible.
latest book?
Giggles in My Heart is her book.
Gayl Murphy,
It's
congratulations.
adorable.
Good to see you back here. My friend, I know Gail's been busy doing stuff because she always is. So Gayl, who are you and where are you coming from?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. My name is Gayl Murphy. I am a Hollywood correspondent. I work with BBC and Sky. I've interviewed over 15,000 celebrities and newsmakers in my broadcasting career. I'm also the author of the book called Interview Tactics: How to Survive the Media Without Getting Clobbered.
Love that.
Yes.
The Insider's Guide to Giving a Killer Interview. And I got to switch glasses here for just a second. And I'm also a speaker and a media coach as well. I call myself the celebritizer, and I can explain why that if you want, but that's okay. It is a made up word. I work with CEOs, showbiz pros, authors, experts, and entrepreneurs, and I give them the very same successful interview tactics and techniques that some of the most successful people in business, entertainment use to celebritize themselves. See, you could work with me 20 times, but if you don't know it, if you can't tell it, you can't sell it. So that's pretty much what I do.
So, you know,
In 60 seconds.
out of Canada, and Danielle Martins out of Portugal, and Terri Marie Nonstop, one of my co-hosts out of Redondo Beach, California.
Oh, great. Great.
Nice to meet you,
nice
Gayl.
to meet you.
It's very nice to meet all of you. Thank you. I
So
appreciate
Judy
it.
and Danielle, and Terri, when it comes to this, Gayl and I have been in many, many rooms over the years of interviewing every celebrity, everybody, everything you can think of out there. We were always in the same room, and I love when she was with ABC for so many years. What was it, 18 years or 16 years you were with ABC? And that's where I learned a lot of stuff, because if you're in with those people, you get a chance to really see who you want to be around. Gayl was always one of the people I wanted to be around. Judy, you know what that's like when you want to pick these actors. You want to make sure that, you know, they are comfortable with you. And one of the reasons why I wanted Gayl on, I didn't know she was following Hasmark Publishing until yesterday. I'm like, oh, let me call Gayl. This might be very interesting. And she goes, what? Author, you're following her. I had to remind her she was following you guys.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
I was. I'm always interested in people that mobilize themselves around anyone that has anything to do with the public, because the media has grown so exponentially, and especially with the tectonic shift that we experienced in the late, just in the last 20 years, especially with social media. And each of us on our own broadcasting system. So when we have an opportunity to tell the world about who we are, what we do, and about our journey, it's showtime. And if you can't tell it, you can't sell it. And you can't depend upon someone like me or Brian to tell your story. Mm-hmm. So I thought, this was like in 2000, I thought, I really want to give back. I should really teach people how to survive somebody like me. Because you know what? When I sit down to interview someone and they don't know why it's important that they talk to me, it's like Serena playing tennis with somebody who's never held a racket before. So we can get a lot further in a shorter amount of time. And it makes me fall in love with you. It makes me want to tell your story every day of the week, because I had such a great time and it had such a wonderful impression on me. And I know the same thing goes for Brian. We'll sit there and talk about some interviews after having done thousands of them. And it's like, oh, remember that interview we did in 2008? And it's like it was 5 minutes ago, because it's just so clear. It was such a good time that we had.
So Judy and Danielle.
Go ahead,
Gayl. Sorry, go ahead.
So my point was, I just try to mobilize myself around people who are attached to anyone that's in the media, because I wish them well. I want them to be able to use 100% of the opportunity. And as you well know, sometimes they do not.
And Judy and Danielle, this is why I've been liking your authors. It's rough. And Gayl was there. It's like walking into the room for the first time. I don't know them. They don't know me. So I kind of get a feel, and I go by energy, and I think Gayl did too. And it's one of those things where I've loved all the authors so far. And for that to happen, it's like that new movie star that comes in. Hey, you want to interview them? And most people said, no, we can't sell this or something. Well, I would always say, okay, who are you? Let me see what you got. And then I was always afraid if I said no, a year later, they'd be a huge star. So I'm doing the same thing with the authors. You just never know. And you guys know what it's like to create those bestsellers. Because Danielle, you're a bestseller. Judy, I don't know how you're picking them. How do you pick these people, these authors become bestsellers? How do you do that?
I think it's just what you said, though. I truly believe everything is energy. And if the energy of the author is in alignment with what they want to do, with where they want to go, then it's going to work. It's if they have to believe it in order for it to happen. If they believe it, then I will believe it, and the consumer will believe it, and it's done. I will tell them on their first phone call. I won't guarantee it, but I can tell you right now, you will become a bestseller. And it happens.
Yeah, and there is a lot of personal efforts from the part of the authors also, because every time they come to us, we get them very involved with all the process, and we encourage them to take actions, to nourish their audience, to speak the right thing to the right people, to market their books to the right niche. It's very important also to help in the process of achieving the bestseller status.
Terri, what did you think about our live Tuesday show with Mark?
Are you talking to me?
Oh, no, Terri.
Oh.
What was that?
What did you think about our live Tuesday show with Mark Wilkinson?
That was very inspiring. Again, it goes back to what everybody's saying about, I think, energy and putting that positive energy and having the confidence, and you'll always be successful. I think that's kind of the message that I've been getting, from this group and from that last interview. And, we all have a tendency to doubt ourselves, but once you doubt yourself, you have to say, you know what, I'm just as good as the next person. I've got talent, and believe in that talent, and don't doubt yourself.
And there is an interesting thing about Mark, that when I first met him and I was in a call with him, and I told him, Mark, you need to go in front of the cameras and speak to your audience, because otherwise they won't hear about your book. They won't know about what you are doing. And he told me, but Danielle, understand that I am a DJ. I know what is it to be on the other side of the mixing device there, I don't know the name, but I'm not the kind of person who is in front of the stage creating the movement. I said, but you need to give it a try, because otherwise how can you expect people to know about your work, about what you do, about the impact you can make in their lives? And you see how he's doing so great today. He's a superstar. You know, it's all about putting in your mind that you need to do the work and get started, and all the things will enroll, you know, will evolving and helping you in becoming the big vision at the end of the day.
The domino effect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you need to start.
But you do have to be your best spokesman. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Hands down. Even though we do marketing, we're getting the author ready to market themselves, but
Exactly.
they have got to put themselves forward. Otherwise they're just not going to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you can't toot your own horn,
Yeah.
nobody else can.
Exactly.
They can't, and they won't. And it's not appropriate for somebody else to do that. The whole idea is to set up these little a trail of breadcrumbs where somebody goes,
Exactly.
oh, wow, you did that? Oh, wow. Okay, so I can't really relate to what you write about, but I'm interested in it. I'm kind of attracted to it. But these 6 other things that you've done, I've done them too. So wherever there's a window, you have to use it. And so I couldn't agree with you more. You have to be your own.
That's where social
spokesperson.
media comes in a big play. Don't you agree? It's just putting yourself out there on that platform and, you know, selling yourself. I mean, that's what I try to do with my brand.
Exactly. You know, what I always tell my clients is that being present on social media is like having people all across the city distributing flyers about yourself.
Yeah.
It's not that you are going to be a big hit in one corner or another, but, you know, having those pillars of distribution helps you to stand out, helps you to you know, when they search engineers, people type your name, because this is the natural behavior of any reader. Every time you pick up a book in your hands and you like the content, what is your natural behavior? Who is this author? If you can't find nothing about the author, nothing, you know, professional way of presenting themselves good with that person, you know. And we tell them all the time, you need to keep nourishing your material content, especially because, you know, it's not a work that you do only when you are launching your book. You know, you need to give it continue. I don't know the word, but you need to continue advertising and marketing your book after the launching. Otherwise, it goes to like, you know, all the work you have done, it
Fizzles.
Yeah. Of course, like anything in life, you don't do something and when you get to the top of the mountain, you say, okay, now I'm going to relax and enjoy. No, you need to keep walking, find the new hot thing to do about that subject.
Yeah, it's just the beginning. Getting your book out to the world.
Just the beginning.
The beginning. Actually, we say quite often it's 5% of the work.
Exactly.
Well, you have to,
because
you have to continue finding that way in to your people and fans that at this point don't even know that they are your friend or your fans yet.
That's right.
And it has to be it has to be something that you said. Some little granule of something that you said that just turned on the light bulb in my head, and I'm like all over Google trying to find you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that you said that about the breadcrumbs, but it's different kind of breadcrumbs that you leave everywhere, because a breadcrumb that attracts to me may not attract to Danielle, may not attract to Terri, may not attract to Brian. But
you have enough of them, it'll attract.
It will catch us sooner or later. There's going to be some little nugget there we're going to go and we're going to grab a hold of, and off we go.
Sure. And that's really important, because those little breadcrumbs are also your talking points. So you can have a list of 100 talking points, and the first 5 are killers. They work every time. But don't forget number 66 and 67, because that's all uncharted territory, and you always have to be experimenting with new things. I always tell my clients when I work with them, and they tell me about, and it was so unbelievable. Somebody asked me what I did, and I expressed it in a way that I never had before. And they were like, bees to honey. I said, well, I hope you wrote that down. It may not work for the next person that you talk to, but that's part of your media bucket and of talking points. And you have to be really familiar with them, and you can just flash them out whenever you need to. I always allude to that old joke of the guy on the corner who sells watches, and he's wearing a big overcoat. He opens the coat and he goes, "Want to buy a watch?"
Oh,
Right? And there's like 55 watches hanging off the inside of his jacket. Oh, I got this one. How about this for your night? You never know when it's going to be showtime.
Exactly. You
Yes.
need to be ready. Exactly.
Oh,
And knowing your message is very important. You spoke about it. For example, I have a personal example, and this is what I tell also to the clients, that sometimes what you just need is not changing the subject, but changing the packaging according to the audience you are going to deliver. Because, for example, my book, this one here, I co-wrote with Katerina Kozayas, it's about personal development. But I transformed the same content in a content for business people. I just needed to adjust the way I presented the material, and I was able to give workshops for business people at the entrepreneurial chamber here in Portugal, But this is about knowing your message. That's why it's so important that you keep working to find the different ways in which you can present the same kind of content, but in different ways, according to the audience you want to achieve. But this is about honing your message.
Yes. And when you're giving this advice to other people, you tell an author who's, let's say, a doctor, something a little bit different than you do to an author who writes erotica, or an author who is writing about science. But it's the same thing, but it's retailored. It's specific to each one, but it's the same process.
yes,
Because otherwise they won't get it.
absolutely.
So it's the right tool for the right time.
Yes,
Talk about how
exactly.
Judy, talk about how AR came to you guys and why Hasmark is the only one in the world to use it. How did that happen? Judy?
The app developer, NeighborView.
Yes. Mhm.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. NeighborView is very local to me, as it turned out, which was fantastic. And they had shown me their business card when I went in to meet them about being in a local newspaper. And he pops up his business card, and a live video appears, and it was like, whoa, we need that in our books. And it took us a year and a half of developing the app further and to get our books into position to be ready. And we went live with it last fall with the first set of books. And now every book that we produce now has augmented reality in it. So yeah,
And
it's an
available
incredible
worldwide.
tool. Yeah, it's now global. That was the big
Global.
development that we had to go through, was to make sure that it could be, the app could be used globally around the world. And it can be. It's incredible because your book comes literally to life. It's just like the picture shows you. The images come right out of your book. So it gives you a whole other dimension of reading.
How did that change your business?
First, it puts us, it's just when you guys were talking about your message, it defines us as being different. It shows that we're thinking bigger than what we are. It also allows our authors to find a different medium of reaching people, because it's one more, like you mentioned about having that media bucket. Well, it's one more thing that will make our authors be a little bit different than other authors that are out there, because that's what's really important. There's something like 40 or 50 million books on Amazon today. How do you stand out? You have to find innovative ways to stand out, because I just think every book is almost like a subject repurposed. It's an interpretation of material, and you found a way to say it differently in your mind and your ideas. But how do you stand out from everybody else? How do you stand out in the crowd? Well, find things that are a little more innovative. And that's it.
And what's been the feedback in the marketplace on that? See, now I'm interviewing her because she's, this woman has hooked me, right?
The market has been very well received. In fact, it's incredible how it all of a sudden awakens ideas, imagination, because people are coming to us now with, one lady read her book, the other one has done the animation, another one has created a video. The beauty of it too is that when the video comes alive, there's a button on it and it takes you to the website. So now there's a call to action. And nothing readers love more than to get to know the author. So for instance, the gentleman you guys were talking about, Mark Wilkinson, his picture invokes augmented reality. And now you get to know Mark in person, and he's got an incredible personality. He's somebody you want to speak to. Well, when he pops to life in his book, it's like, well, you got me now. I need to know more about this guy. Well, guess what? The link's right there. Click, go, and there you are on his website.
And reading is such a personal, private happening. And now it's you and the book and this person.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you're having a party in your house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And we have an author that he said that one person told him, it's like carrying my mentor with me. And I told Jude this, I told Jude this at the very beginning. Imagine that I am here and I have my mentor speaking to me, It's incredible.
Wow.
It creates a deeper relationship between the author and his readers.
Yeah.
Judy, give your social media links for Hasmark real quick. We got about 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Hasmarkpublishing.com. We're everywhere on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. You can find us everywhere at hasmarkpublishing.com.
Danielle?
Also at hasmarkpublishing.com, also at daniellemartins.com, social media Danielle Martins, everywhere.
Gayl?
Gayl Murphy, just Gayl Murphy. So it's hashtag GAYLMURPHY.
And Terri?
Website is terrimarieofficial.com, and then social media is Terri Marie nonstop, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
And with that, this really went quick. It's almost like I have to do a part 2.
I know. It's been incredible.
It's one of those things where, Judy, thank you, because I know you're really swamped with everything, but thank you. I love the authors. I didn't know I was going to do so many authors. And Gayl and I have done a lot of these best-selling authors back in the day, and now it's kind of come full circle again. Danielle, thank you for all the stuff that you're doing, because you're working it. And again, Mark Wilkinson, he's really working it. He's all over the place now. And he's got a great story. I was just come into our Tuesday night show. So with that, I have to say this to everybody. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours, because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More, and we will see you next week.